about home. They're married to real estate.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast for people who love real estate and want to become inspired and informed. Whether you are a newbie real estate agent looking to get tips and learn a thing or two, or maybe you are a savvy property owner who wants to get a jump on the market, this is the place for you. We discuss our passion for real estate and people. We bring together our personal experiences as well as our guests to learn from each other. You'll hear from experts in sales coaching, real estate law, mortgage lending, investing, and many local business owners on how to grow your business or your investment in real estate. I'm Mary Forrester.
I'm Mary McCauley.
And I'm Mary Elliot.
And we are
Married to Real Estate.
Welcome, everybody. How is everyone doing?
Hey, good.
Doing great.
How was your week, Mary?
Oh, it was amazing. Just amazing. I can't get into too many specifics, but I have been surrounded by just excellence. I had some medical issue this week, had to go through a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Every single person I dealt with was awesome.
Oh,
I
that's
love
great
that.
to hear.
It was all Emerson
I don't like that
Hospital
you had a
related.
thing.
No, a thing.
Yeah.
A thing. We'll be dealing with it with a thing.
Yep.
And so it's going to be okay. You know, all I can tell you is something has transformed. My attitude is like up there. And I just scheduled my nephew, Tim Robinson, and Lisa Tilstra for Married to Real Estate.
Nice.
So I'm really
Yay.
thrilled.
Awesome. Both
fun.
of them.
They run a business
cool.
out of Sri Lanka and D.C.,
Oh, wow.
helping people overseas buy investment property in the United States.
Can't
Very
wait for
So that should be
episode.
lots of
that'll
fun.
be great.
And they're looking forward to that.
Great. And Mary Elliot?
So I am busy too, real estate wise. I have a new listing coming on in Pepperell soon, which I may be calling you for very
Awesome.
soon.
Love it.
And yeah, so that's exciting. It's a friend of mine from high school, so that always feels good when somebody I know wants me to sell their house. That's great. And my son is graduating this weekend.
So
Congrats.
exciting.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Griffin.
Thank you. Yes, good job, Griff. Very, very proud of you. I did my weekly calendar on the Groton channel this week and did a little graduate shout out. And it's live TV. Well, it's not live TV. It's recorded TV. And I choked up in the middle of my thing. And I was like, oh, congratulations, Griffin.
Came out of nowhere.
So I'm trying to handle my emotions.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Never easy, but, you
No.
know, that's fine. People
Yeah.
expect that. It's graduation. It's exciting. It's a,
Yeah.
new beginning and
Exactly.
for everybody.
Yeah.
And,
And he was my cuddly, snuggly kid out of all of them. So super attached. And now he's not.
Oh.
Anywho.
Well, I've been busy with real estate. I have several listings coming on, and my photographer of choice is our honorary Mary today.
Yes.
Rob Pessolano of Pessolano Photography. So, hi, Rob. How are
Hi.
you?
Mary.
Thank you for coming.
Be careful.
That's not an echo. So, Rob, tell us a little bit about you and how you got started in photography.
Okay. Well, I went to film school in Chicago, went to Columbia College, Chicago, and I studied film and video there. I was in the cinematography program. I always have taken photos since I was a little kid, so always kind of knew I wanted to go in that direction. So I went to school in Chicago, and then when I graduated, I got a job in New York at a film studio in New York. It's called the Tabletop Studio, where we shoot all product photography and food photography.
Oh, cool.
So I moved to New York after that and lived in Brooklyn, commuted to Manhattan every day, and did that for about 4 years. It was really, really fun job. We had big clients like Red Lobster and Olive Garden, McDonald's, Burger King,
Making
kind of
that
the
food
stuff-
look delicious.
Exactly. The stuff you see on TV where the shrimp's flying through the air and it's
So-
getting hit with sauce. and-
Right. So you must know all the tricks to make them look
definitely.
glossy.
We learned a lot
and
of
so-
tricks.
Yeah.
We worked with food stylists and hand models and
Oh,
geez.
big
Yeah.
That's
slow
very
motion
cool.
cameras and really great equipment. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was a ton of fun. I learned a lot. Worked very hard, worked long hours, long days, but really, really enjoyed it. And then in 2018, I got married, and my wife is also from Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we knew that we wanted to come back here. We talked about it for a while. So when we got married, we said, all right, let's do it. Now's the time.
Great.
So we moved back here in 2018. And at that point, I started freelancing, doing the same stuff I was doing in New York, but instead of working for one studio, I was kind of freelancing and working for different studios. I worked on a couple television shows, some commercials, kind of dabbling in that. And when I was doing that, I got into drone photography and drone video.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I got my drone license. And then another camera operator who I was working with said, hey, if you do drone, you should look into real estate. They're using them
Right.
in real estate right now. So that was kind of my introduction to the real
Yeah.
estate market. I started doing it then, slowly started reaching out to different agents, kind of brought me in, and I really enjoyed it. I kind
Yeah.
of saw the opportunity there for not just drone, but for photos, for
Right.
video, for virtual tours,
Yeah.
for all the different real estate marketing products that are out there, and kind of just jumped on it.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for about 4 years now, since 2018, when
Through COVID.
Yeah.
well, when COVID hit, that was actually pretty much all the film production shut down. No commercials. They couldn't.
Right.
They couldn't have people on set. All the TV shows, all the movies got put on hold.
Right.
But the real estate market kept going.
Yes, it
It did. It never
So
stops.
that's really about 2.5 years ago, or what, a little over 2 years ago now. That's when I went full time, dove in
Nice.
head first, and yeah, I've been doing nothing but that since then, and it's been great. Just every month is better than the month before. Year over year, the company is growing and getting bigger and bigger. More and more
Fantastic.
clients, more and more offices, and it's been
Yep.
going really well.
That's-
and really, really enjoying it.
That's impressive. I mean, my impression, because I'm relatively new to real estate, of you, is that you'd been around for a long time doing this, but you dove in
Yeah.
COVID feet first too,
Yeah, exactly.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I used you when you first started. I got your name and number from your father,
Yep,
who
yep.
joined Keller
Absolutely,
Williams
yep.
several years ago. And from the minute, I think you're right, Mary, from the minute that Rob set foot on there, he was professional.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of the things they talk about is leveraging our time as real estate agents. And, you know, they're like, is it really a good use of your time to go and stand there while the photographer takes all the pictures?
Definitely.
And it's really not.
Oh, you don't have to?
No,
Oh,
well, I
really?
think with Rob, you know, I would feel totally comfortable just having him go. You know, he knows what, you know, what to look for, what to move out of the way. He's not afraid to move things and help out with that. I mean,
Absolutely,
you've
definitely.
done.
Yeah.
We moved a lot of stuff together in some properties. So.
Well, I want to get into that. That's a question I had coming in today. Is do you have any crazy stories of things that
Oh,
you've
do tell.
seen and you have to
geez.
move?
If you can, if you
Obviously,
can.
omit details that
Yeah,
are, you know, personal.
Yeah.
How
The
about a
dog
silly
turd on the
story?
floor,
All right,
you know.
actually, yes, I do have a good one.
Wow,
Rental-
Mary, way to prompt it. Set the
Well, we
stage.
want to go right to the bottom, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Rental properties are always tough.
Oh,
There's usually there are
sure.
tenants in there.
Yep.
The tenants are not invested in the property being sold. So usually the homeowner
In fact, they
comes
probably
looking-
don't want it to
Right,
be
so
sold.
it's
Right.
Yeah.
They're always extremely inconvenienced.
Yeah.
They don't clean. So rental property is always a little tough. I've
Yep.
learned this. I know. I show up. All right, it's a rental property. We're
Yep.
going to have to move an extra stuff, a little extra work. That's fine. We're going to do it. We're going to get the best photos we
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
One time I showed up for a rental property, and there was a woman who did not want us to be there, and she literally refused to get out of bed. And I took the photo of her in bed, pulled the sheet over her head, snapped the photo, and then that photo went up on the internet. It went up on the listing.
Oh
I saw
my
it a couple
gosh.
weeks later as a
my
rental
gosh.
property.
That's
So you
hysterical.
didn't like Photoshop out the wrinkle, the
I
bump, the
tried,
dead body.
But there was a person in the bed. It was pretty obvious there was a person in the bed.
That's
so,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
did you hear from the agent? Did she get questions about that photo?
I don't
like
know
what
if
was
she
going
did,
on?
but I know she was very appreciative of me just kind of rolling
Rolling with
on
it.
that
Rolling
one.
with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
rolling with
You
it,
know,
yeah.
And that is how you hide things around the house.
and, I might have thought, just said, okay, maybe we don't shoot that room, but no, we shot it. It was on the listing, and we used it. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the place sold, right?
I'm sure it
There
did.
you
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I
Well-
don't envy you the variety of personalities you have to deal with in terms of realtors, because many of us take a while in order to get to appreciate what you do, right?
Right. Yeah.
And some of us are out there doing our own, and they look exactly like that, like we've done our
Yeah.
own. you know? Yeah. So it's-
Professional photography makes all the difference.
Oh, it makes so much difference.
Definitely, it really does
Yeah.
make a big difference. And And I mean, I enjoy working with all the different personalities. That's one of the things I love about my job. Every day I go out, it's a totally different house, a different property, a different person. Keeps things very interesting, and I really enjoy it. I work with a lot of different people, a lot of different facets of life, and some people are doing it full time and selling $20 million. Some people are selling one house a year, and I love the variety. I love seeing different homes. I work mostly here in the Metro West area, but I'll go up to New Hampshire. I'll go into Boston.
Cool.
Every now and then I'll end up out on the Cape. So I don't like to limit myself.
Yeah.
See different properties, and it's really fun.
It's
really
cool.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Does your drone license prevent you from doing much in Boston? I mean, do you have?
Yep. So
that's
there
a
are
great
restrictions
question.
around the airport, but actually with the drone license, you can then apply to get flight permitted in those areas that you can't. So if I didn't have the drone license, I'd get shut down way more. But the morning of a flight, I can put in an application. If the weather is good, flights are good, I can get a time restricted, say between 1 and 2, I can fly. And it'll usually give me a height restriction sometimes in
FAA?
Boston. Yep.
Yeah.
FAA,
Didn't you do a video of Boston during COVID?
I sure did.
It
Yeah.
was beautiful.
Oh, thank you very
Eerie
much. That was a great
and
program.
gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, I did. I remember seeing
didn't
that.
see
That was
that.
really,
Yeah.
really
Thank you.
cool.
Yeah,
I'll look
sure.
for
It
it.
was a film studio in Boston, and obviously everything was shut down. No one was working. So for about a week, every morning, I'd wake up about 4:30, go into Boston, and we'd film all the most iconic spaces with no one
Nobody
in.
there.
Nobody. Back
Really
Bay,
cool.
Faneuil Hall, Fenway Park. We went
Seaport,
everywhere,
yeah.
and it was eerie.
I was-
It was
Yeah.
eerie.
How
It
did
was
it
like
feel to you?
chilling.
Yeah.
Just the
It
video
was,
was.
it was
Right.
pretty crazy. And drive out there would normally take an hour and 15 minutes. I was there in 22 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And then no one on the streets. So that was a great project. That was a really, really fun one.
Yeah.
I'm glad you saw it.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
And where can people see that?
So that's going to be probably on YouTube and Vimeo. I was hired by a different studio, so that wasn't a Pessolano photography product.
okay.
I was hired out, and it was called Indrasano Studios. So if you go on their website, I'm sure they have it.
Intrasonic.
Indrasano. Yep.
Indrasano.
Yep, they're a great film studio. I've worked for them for a couple of years, freelancing.
Cool.
great
Let's put it
studio.
on the put
Yeah.
it on the listing when we post the
Okay.
interview.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. I have a question. How do you keep your schedule straight and juggling your schedule? I've had to reschedule you personally several times. How about this day? How about that day? How about this time? How about that time? How about back to this one?
Right.
Back to that one.
Scheduling is definitely one of the challenging parts of the job. I mean, I totally understand that it's tough, so I try to be as flexible as possible. I know some other photographers charge cancellation fees and stuff. I don't do that because I understand it's stuff.
Yeah.
You're dealing with homeowners, you're dealing with tenants, you're dealing with all sorts of stuff. So, I usually tell people, 2 to 3 weeks out, it's good to have a solid date. If we need to change it, we can always try to reschedule. Another thing that makes the scheduling crazy is weather.
Yeah.
Right.
Cloudy weather is good. Sunny weather is good. Rain, snow, you really can't do it. When it's actively raining,
Right.
you can't shoot. So, last summer we had so much rain at the beginning of last
Yes,
summer. It
it
would
was
rain
so
for
much.
2 weeks straight.
Yep.
And then I try to keep times available when I know it's going to be a rainy week. I'll keep a couple spots available to then come back and reshoot.
Oh, cool.
Usually
Yep.
you can do all the inside stuff. You can do floor plans, inside video, inside photos, virtual tours, but it's really the exteriors that you
Yep.
want good weather for.
Yep. And that drone footage is spectacular.
Thank you,
What
yeah.
qualifies for drone? Because I know that sometimes I've actually when we sold our house in Westford, we were recommended not to do drone because there was construction nearby or something, so it wasn't pretty outside of the property.
Yeah, I would say not all homes need it. Sometimes you show up to a house and it's asking for it. It's next to a public park. It's next to a school. Also, sometimes the positioning of the house can really ask for it. If the house is up on a hill, even if it's just a slight hill, and the photos from the ground are looking up at it, the house is going to kind of look like it's leaning backward. It's going to look like it's like falling over, and that's not ideal. So I tell people with the drone, you don't necessarily need to go 400 feet in the air and see the entire town.
Right.
Just
Right.
getting 30, 40 feet in the air and getting a straight on
Yeah.
perspective of the home instead of looking up at the home makes all the difference in some of the photos.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah,
Those
so-
high up houses always look like they're looming over you.
Yeah, so sometimes when I show up to a house, if the drone photography wasn't ordered, I'll give the agent a quick call or talk to them if they're and say, I think this one's kind of asking for it, the positioning of the house, or there's, say, a lake or a river or something behind. That's
Right.
always really nice to see.
Yeah, you did the one
Right.
for me at 21 North Street in Westford, and that was a
that was
farmhouse
great.
with a barn, and it had trails behind it. and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a great way to get
it was.
neighborhood shots too. If it's a really nice neighborhood, a pretty street, and
Yeah.
especially in the autumn with the foliage and stuff, it's
Yeah.
drone shots are really
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Is that like sort of your favorite part of your
It's
job?
definitely one of
Yeah.
the funnest parts
Yeah.
of the job, definitely.
Yeah.
When I first got into it, it was very, very fun to do, and just I did it as a hobby, and now that I get to do it for a job every day, it's very enjoyable.
That's
it's
so
very
cool.
fun.
I know my husband would be so jealous just getting out there to do it. He wants it just to play
Yeah,
with his
just a
drone all
toy.
the time.
Yeah,
As a
exactly.
toy. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Pretty much I play with toys.
Yeah.
Don't tell his wife that. I'm working, honey. Really.
No,
I'm really working.
He's making money off of it.
The
It's
office.
great. Yeah.
But it's even the same way with the cameras. I mean, I've loved this. It's been not just a
Right.
career, but a hobby for me. So the fact that I get to go to work every day and shoot video and shoot photos, and
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy it. It's very enjoyable.
So I have the impression that you're a little bit younger than me, but I was super into photography in high school before digital was a thing. And I loved it, and that's what I went to college for. I started
Awesome.
in
Very
communication.
cool.
No,
Oh.
no, but I didn't finish. Because I actually, digital came along and the darkroom was getting taken away, and I was no longer interested. So I'm always like enamored and impressed by people who embrace the new technology and then take it further into like drone photography, things
Right.
like that. I just gave up. I mean, I liked my camera on my phone, but beyond that, I don't need to do it anymore.
Yeah, actually, that transition kind of happened when I was in college.
Great.
I went to school for film and video, so we shot film, we shot
Right.
actual film.
Yeah.
And my graduating class was the last class that had the degree of film and video. After that, they
Right.
changed it to, I believe it was cinema, arts, and science, because they were slowly phasing out all the film.
Yeah.
We were in Chicago, and there wasn't anywhere to get the film developed in Chicago.
Exactly.
Everything had to get sent to Texas because there were just so few of these houses left.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So I think I got a good timing there where I was in school for that change. So we learned a lot about it. Every year there were less film cameras and more digital cameras, and I kind of stuck with the curve.
And you didn't resist it like I did.
Yeah, no, I definitely
Went
embraced
with
it.
the flow.
Time is everything, right? Time is everything.
And same with the real estate marketing. It's constantly changing. There's always new products. So anytime I hear a little whisper of like, oh, this new product's coming, oh, there's interactive floor plans, oh, there's
Yep.
virtual staging, oh, there's sky replacement, I research it, I figure it out, and we start offering it right away.
That's
Because
awesome.
I want to try to stay ahead of the curve. It's always changing. I don't want to be outdated. I kind of want to always have the most up-to-date products and services.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, keep embracing that technology. I'm glad somebody can, but
Yep.
it's not me.
Right now, the real popular one that we just started offering is Reels. Everyone is shooting
Oh.
Instagram Reels and
Okay.
TikTok
Oh, I didn't know
videos.
that. That's
yes.
cool.
So now that's on our list of services.
Wow.
We come out, we'll shoot a video. They're a little bit different. Instead of vertically, they're instead of horizontal, they're vertical.
phone.
Yeah.
They're super quick for Facebook. They need to be under 30 seconds. For Instagram, they need to be under a minute.
Okay.
So these short, sweet, highlight reel videos like
Yep.
see the front of the house, see the kitchen, see the primary bedroom, and bam,
Boom.
done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because normally our video tours, they're about 2 minutes-ish, 2.5 minutes, and
Yep.
they're much more edited, and there's music and there's text, but people's attention spans are
Yeah.
getting
Oh my
shorter,
God.
and shorter,
I
and
can tell.
shorter.
I can tell you.
Well,
so
we'll
as
have to
those-
talk about that for
Yeah,
my
that's-
Totally.
upcoming.
Me too.
I've got Rob booked for 3 properties and
Oh,
maybe
awesome.
2
You
more.
rock,
So,
girl.
yeah, so
Mary's keeping me
I better
busy.
get him booked soon.
my personal photographer.
Yeah.
Discount, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Keep talking, Mary.
Anytime, honey.
That's right. Everybody use Rob Pessolano. We got it for
Yeah.
free now, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think that's, as I examine different professions and people want it free,
Yeah.
somehow I've gotten really, really solidified. Not free.
No.
Not free.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. We
You
have
know,
value.
That's right.
This
You
is-
go to a doctor, you pay full, right? You go to a hairdresser, you pay full. Well, guess what? You're going to come to a realtor, to a professional photographer. I'm really into paying for the service right
Yep,
now.
I agree. I think especially in this environment of the world, I think you should know your value and be valued for it.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. Know your value. That's
Yep.
right.
Absolutely
Exactly.
right.
Super. Well, do you have any kind of advice to realtors as how we prep our clients?
Yes, great question. I was gonna
Yes,
ask
absolutely. I mean, using a professional stager always makes all the difference. It really, really helps. Obviously, that's not always, something people do. So there's always things to get ready besides just cleaning. Obviously in the kitchens, we want to have it as clear as possible, especially all the countertops. It's okay to have a couple small nice things, a small plant or a set of knives, but for the most part, you want all the clutter gone. That's especially true in bathrooms also.
Yes.
Bathroom counters, you pretty much don't want anything on them. Obviously, in a home someone's living in, that's usually not the case.
I tell my clients to check their tub for anything that they can't find.
Yes. That's a good point.
Shower curtain.
Totally.
Everything.
I've learned that, when I'm doing floor plans and I open a closet to measure that, most likely things are going to come falling down on me, because when people are getting ready for me, it just all gets shoved in the closets.
Right.
So I've gotten used to that.
Yep. That makes sense. So what is the best thing that homeowners can do that you've seen? Have you walked into a house and said, oh, this was a really smart idea?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some people obviously put in a lot more effort than other people, and the effort does not go unnoticed.
Right.
Often I hear people say, oh, I've been working 10 hours a day for the past 3 weeks to get this house ready. And it's really worth the work, because every little thing you do translates to the photos, translates to the person who's viewing the photo, and that's just going to be more people coming to the open houses, and that just has the trickle-down
Best foot
effect.
forward.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I had that happen, and now I've gotten into the practice of, we schedule the photography, the client's working hard every weekend, every day up until then, and I made the mistake once of just showing up with you at a property, and it was not ready. So now I always go the day before to make sure that, at least the day before, to make sure that things are ready for the photography.
That's a great
definitely.
tip for the realtors.
It's a ton of work. I don't try to pretend like I don't understand. It's a lot of work. It really is. But I always try to tell the homeowner it is worth it after.
Yeah.
If you try to just, start that morning, I'll just clean up before the photographer gets here, then it's just going to...
It's going to
It's
show.
gonna show.
Yeah.
Well, don't you
Yeah.
find that
Show.
people don't see the things
Some
around
people
them?
don't
They get
see.
used to
Right.
it.
They're not
Right.
visual.
Definitely.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think it's sort of the difference between, just cleaning and staging. Staging is where I'll jump in more and say, okay, like you did a great job cleaning this kitchen, but let's get rid of, the toaster and put out a fruit bowl. Let's get rid of, the microwave and put out a plant. And that would be, where we kind of stage things up a little bit more. Like, hey, let's turn these chairs in so it's not two chairs staring at a couch. Let's kind of try to make a little bit of a circle, open it up for the camera. So in those terms of staging, that's where I tend to try to jump in and do a lot.
That's great that you do that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, I feel like to be in that business, to be in your business, you have an artist eye. There's you have the feeling for a good aesthetic.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then lots of times what I tell people too is I'll set it up to the camera, because from one side of the room I'll be looking through the lens and kind of see where things need to be positioned, and then from the reverse angle, which we're going to take, it might not work that well.
Yep.
So obviously we won't make large changes, because then they won't match.
Yep.
But small stuff like changing the angles of chairs, changing the angles of couches,
Yeah.
you don't really notice when you look from one photo to the
true.
next that
Yep.
it's slightly different because of the position of the camera. So stuff like that, I always do. Every room we go to, we'll kind of slightly change positions if it's needed.
How long does it generally take you to photo a house? Say a average 22,000 square foot
I'd
house.
say the average house, just photos, takes around an hour.
Yeah. Okay.
And then if you add more services, if you're doing a video, it would be about an hour. The floor plans
Floor plan
tend to
can
be
add time, right? Yeah.
consuming.
Same with the
especially-
virtual tours, right?
Yeah, the virtual tours are very time consuming. So you pretty much, you have the 3D camera and you need to scan. Every 6 feet is what they recommend.
wow.
So sometimes on large, 4,000,
Yeah.
5,000 foot houses, it'll be 150 scans. So instead of taking 2 or 3 photos in each room,
Yep.
you're now talking about, instead of 30 to 40 photos, you're talking about 150 scans. So the virtual tours are very time consuming. Luckily, the cameras and the programs that record them are getting quicker and better. So I have seen that time kind of come down.
Oh, good.
So that has been helpful.
So the camera can knit it all together
Yep.
for you?
Yep. So there's a couple
Amazing.
different services. There's Matterport. There's Zillow.
Matterport, yeah.
Matterport's the most popular one.
Yep.
Zillow has one called Zillow 3D Tours. It's a little more basic, not as in-depth as the Matterport.
Yep.
So they have their proprietary software, so you have to buy their subscription, and then, you know, there's hosting fees for the amount of properties so you have up. But we go out and we record it with the camera and download it into their program and kind of build what they call the 3D twin, and then you submit it, and then they finalize it and give you the tour back. So you're working with Matterport.
So are you on your computer as much as you are out in the field?
I last year hired an editor.
Oh,
right.
So it's
great.
been
Good for you.
a huge
Yeah,
amount of
love
work
it.
off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's great now because I used to have to schedule time to edit, obviously, every day. And now it's pretty much double the amount of time I can shoot.
Terrific.
Yeah,
So
because
it's-
your turnaround time is really quick.
Yeah, we
which
try to
appreciate.
do 24 hours on all of our
Wow,
services.
that's
The
amazing.
videos are 48 hours, but everything
Okay.
else is a 24-hour turnaround.
Wow.
Basically,
Yep.
the way my workflow is, I go out, I shoot all the properties, I come home, I download everything, I hand it off to my editor. My
Yep.
editor works all night long. And then in the morning when I wake up, all of it is
Everything's
done.
Christmas
ready.
morning.
And you
Deliver
send
it
it
to the
out.
agent.
Yeah.
Unwrap
Do it all
Look
again.
what I did for you.
Present to the realtor.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Would you
I kn-
talk a little bit about virtual tours and virtual staging
Yep,
and what kind of some of the
absolutely.
rules are around that?
So the virtual staging has become very popular in the past
Really?
year or so.
I hate it.
I hate
Personally
it too, but
hate
go,
it.
Go talk. Tell
Yes.
us.
People are very opinionated about it. It works well for homes that are completely empty, obviously,
Yes.
with nothing
Right.
in them. The positive side is that you can really kind of get the exact furniture that you want, and you can kind of get the exact look, as opposed to if you work with an actual stager, sometimes their products are limited.
Yes.
I would say the negative side is then the stuff's not there for the open house.
Correct.
It's
Right.
just for the photos,
Yeah.
Right.
which is great.
But I've seen some where the scale was off. You
Yep.
know, you
Oh,
look
absolutely.
at the picture and there'd be
Yep.
this, you know, whatever, giant sofa and a big
100%, yep.
coffee table. And then you go in the room and it's, you know, 8 by 8. And you're
Yeah.
like, no sofa would ever fit in that room.
Absolutely, it happens a lot
Yeah.
with beds too. You know, it'll be absolutely massive room, and then you're staging, and you make the bed, and this bed's like 30 feet, and you walk to the room. So sometimes the proportions are off. So you want to get good with your virtual staging and kind of get those proportions straight. One thing I have seen some agents doing now that I thought was a great idea is they will take the virtually staged photo, print it out, and put it on an easel in
Yeah.
that room.
Oh,
So then when you walk in the room, because the virtual staging's not there, you can
Right.
say, here's this room. This is what it could look like.
Gives people some vision.
Yeah.
Kind of gives them vision,
Yeah.
some idea of
I
kind
like
of say,
that.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
a
makes
couch would
sense.
look great there. Oh, a TV up on that wall, and kind of then they can visualize
Yeah.
it because, you know, most people, you know, don't want to do the virtual staging because it's not there for the open house. At that point, they'll just pay a real stager, so then it's there.
Yeah.
I like
But-
the idea of the easels.
Yeah, the first time I
That
saw it, I
makes
thought it was
it
an
a great
excellent
idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very smart.
some people want to color the lawn differently. They want to do all that stuff. That's illegal, right?
No, technically the lawn and skies and stuff like that are not illegal, but anything in the home, fixing holes in walls, changing
Right.
colors of walls, changing doors, yes, you're treading on illegal because
Interesting,
you don't
yeah.
want to misrepresent the property. I
course.
believe that's the,
Yep.
the language.
What
of
about
makes it
filling in the
illegal.
pool?
We do. We can change colors of water again. So say it's a green pool and it's foggy, we can make it blue. But no, technically you should not fill a pool with water because
Okay.
again, that's misrepresentation.
Interesting,
But
yeah.
stuff that could change on its own, such as green grass making yellow grass green, or a cloudy sky blue, things like that.
That's okay?
It is okay. But what some people do, or most people do with the virtual staging to make sure that they're not misrepresenting is they'll show it empty and then they'll show it virtually
Yep.
staged
Yep.
and
Good
clearly
idea.
label this is virtually staged.
Yes.
If you put just the virtually staged photo, then some people can maybe think that's misrepresenting.
Yes.
Get the wrong
yes,
impression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So realtors know what you can and can't do. And
Right.
It's
cover
definitely
your
important.
Right.
And make
your
sure you're using a
behind.
photographer that knows what they're talking about too.
Absolutely.
And will keep
Sometimes
you
people
covered.
suggest, they'll say, oh, there's a big giant hole in the wall. Can you cover that? And my question will be like, well, is it going to be fixed or
Yeah.
you just don't show that wall? Because then you're treading on some legality stuff that you don't want to get involved in.
Right.
Right,
Oh,
right.
and headaches.
Nobody wants, yeah.
Headaches. Yes.
Right, but that's a good point, though. You have the option of just omitting that one.
Right, and that's
flaw.
usually
Or
the
that,
best way
or
to
that
go about
angle,
it.
you wouldn't shoot
Right.
it. You'd shoot it in a different way.
Right.
Right.
One question I get asked a lot is, oh, can you change the wall color? It's like, yes, I can change the wall color, but lots of times if it's something that's going to be done before the open house, I'll give them
Yeah.
both versions of it. Say, oh, this room's going to be painted white. can you change it white in the photos? Then I'll do that, give them the original, give them the white. But again, you don't really want to do it unless it's something that's going to be done.
That
before
it's
the
going
home
to
change.
be there.
Has
right.
to be the true
Absolutely.
representation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Makes
Neat.
sense.
That's
that makes
neat.
a lot of sense. Yeah, that's legal stuff that I hadn't thought about with photography.
Yeah, you always want to be careful.
That Mary Forrester, she's so smart. She's
She is
sharp.
wise.
Yes.
Well, in
Very
Northern
wise.
Virginia, what was happening, the lawn would be non-existent, maybe
Right.
new construction or something
Yep.
like that, and the photographer or the final product was
Yep.
green, as if the real house, green grass. It's not. There's no grass on the property. So that was like one example. I know.
Yeah. That's funny. I just was telling my clients to start watering their lawns for photos. 'Cause, like it was kind of yellow.
Yeah, there's always a
Yeah.
couple months where winter ends and
Yep.
spring has not begun yet, where most of the grass is yellow
Yeah.
and trees aren't looking great yet.
But it is what it looks like.
That's what it looks like, and people, you're gonna live here. They're gonna know that their grass
totally.
is gonna
There's-
And then
look
your
like
clients
that.
probably have photos of what it looks like in
Right.
the summer with the flowers, or in the
Totally.
winter
Yeah.
with the beautiful snow or whatever.
And
So-
Yeah.
there's pros and cons
Throw
of,
some of those in
every
sometimes.
season. All 4 seasons, I can give you pros and cons on all of them. So you kind of just gotta take which season it is. We always make them look as best as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
all you can really
I'm
do.
sure some of those winter shoots are no fun though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little tough. Fresh
Yeah.
snow is kind of nice and pretty fresh snow.
Yeah.
The end of winter brown piles in
right.
the driveway and shoveled
Yeah.
walkways
Hard to
that are
shoot
kind of
around.
muddy. Yeah,
Yeah.
not desirable.
Yeah, that's rough.
yeah. Mud season isn't good.
No,
anymore,
no.
Sure.
Is there anything that we can do to help you in your business, make it easier for you?
What do you wish realtors?
Yeah,
would
what do you wish
do
realtors would do?
that they're not doing?
I would say just having the home prepared. Obviously, like we talked about earlier, I don't mind jumping in, and there's always that little bit of staging we can do at the end. But it's always disappointing when you show up to a beautiful home and it's just not ready yet, or it's being rushed. And obviously, again, I know it's always a time crunch, and lots of times these things happen really quick. They say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I want to list tomorrow.
Right.
Let's
Yeah,
do the photos
sometimes they
tomorrow
do.
morning." So
Yeah.
I totally understand it. But sometimes things are rushed, and there could have been more work done to the house, and it's kind of disappointing when you see a gorgeous property that's not quite ready for
Right.
photos, and we do them anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that more?
Yeah.
You're talking about like clutter.
Yeah, clutter and
Do you
not
see
being
tumbleweeds of
clean.
dust balls and fur
Dust
balls? I
bunnies.
mean, does that
Yeah.
show up a
Yeah.
lot in the photography? Like, would you rather have less clutter and not worry so much about the
Definitely
crumbs
less
on the
clutter.
floor?
More, yeah, definitely. Like cleansly, a little bit of crumbs on the counter, stuff like that. That's always an easy,
Fix.
Brush
easy
over.
fix. It. You really don't notice that as much, opposed to just clutter. Clutter is probably one of the most difficult things.
Photo
And,
killer.
Yep.
and obviously,
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
children's rooms.
Children, lots of
Children,
toys.
Yes.
Sorry, we're just going to be having a party over here. I was thinking though, about you moving from Chicago to Massachusetts, right?
Or vice
New York.
Or vice. Oh, sorry.
And then from New York up to here.
Okay, New York up to here. So you had to come and find a house. Did you purchase a house when you first moved to Massachusetts?
Renters.
Renters.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So are you still in that mode?
sure are,
Yeah.
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 We can help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. that was not what I was trying to get into.
Forget your dad.
It's funny that I work with real estate agents every day
Right.
as a renter.
Yeah. It's,
Definitely something that doesn't go
it's
unnoticed.
in your face a lot, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you about your home buying experience coming to Massachusetts, but that's out. But still, it's a process, right? Finding where you
Absolutely.
want to live.
Definitely, and I've been learning a lot about it. I see a lot of houses come on. I learn what they list for. I learn what they sell for. So I've been learning a lot about it. So
you
when we go
probably
to
have a
do
little
that-
bit too much knowledge right now.
Yeah. I
But-
know it's always tough when I see like a house. I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for me and my family, and then it comes and goes. You know,
Well,
But
that's just
we'll
how
get
it's-
there when this market calms down. We're gonna
Yeah.
get on it. And
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing that's been sort of relatively new in the past couple of years is that as a self-employed person, it's easier to get a loan. There are programs where you don't have to, that it makes it easier for someone
Right.
That's true.
to do that. So
Yeah, well, when we first moved up here, I had actually just quit my job in New York. I
Right,
was
yeah.
a freelancer up here. I didn't really actually have a job
Yeah,
as I
yeah.
was starting this business. So
That's
at
a
first it
tough
wasn't.
position.
No
Yeah.
W-2s, yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Exactly. But now, the
But now
past
you have
2
this
years it's
big,
been
booming
building and
business.
doing so well.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're looking forward when we're going to start the
Oh,
hunt.
that's
Very
great.
exciting.
I love to hear that's very exciting.
Yeah, and how big a family do you have right now?
Yeah.
Me and my wife, and we had a baby 6
Yeah.
months ago.
I knew you had a new baby.
Thank you.
All right,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been
Very
really
exciting.
fun, really enjoyable. He's doing great. He's growing way too fast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
It's crazy.
It happens.
How do you keep from taking pictures of every move he makes?
I pretty much do, actually.
He's like, I don't stop myself. Not at
He was
all.
born in November, and I got like 10,000 photos on my phone since then or something like that.
Just make sure if you plan to have subsequent children,
Yeah.
you keep that
Do as
tradition
many,
up.
yeah.
Right,
Because
right.
they just
Many
walk
photos.
away, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
We just stop.
I'm the youngest of 3, and I always say
know.
there's
No photos.
not as many photos of me. That's
so
for sure.
true. It's so
really
true.
happens.
Guilty of that as a parent.
Me too.
You just
Me
don't
too.
have time where, because now you have 3.
I have album after album of the first child alone, and then
Yep.
second one came along. I didn't have time to make albums. Like that's
No.
not a thing. They're
I've
all
got
on
bins full
Facebook.
of
It's fine.
photos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rob, tell us your website or how realtors or other people. Do you do other photography besides mostly real
Just doing the
estate?
real estate now. Yep,
Okay.
we kind of dove in
Cool.
head first. So I used to do other stuff, but really the past 2.5 years, it's all this.
Okay, so where can our realtor friends find you?
You can find me at Pessolano.com. It's PESSOLANO photography.com. You can email me at rob@Pessolanophotography.com. And of course, you can always call or text me. It's 978-729-4110. And,
Yeah, you're
Perfect.
super responsive. I
Yeah,
text him all the
absolutely.
time. He always
Yeah.
texts back. It's
Yeah.
never
You
been
can
an
always
issue.
check out our social media too. We try to stay as active as we can on Instagram and
Great.
Facebook, and try to
Great.
put up, a lot of our photos and products there.
And
right.
as you were saying, Rob, you shot my first listing, and I felt very, very comfortable with it being my first listing, and I just knew that there was a professional at hand that
I
could
always
handle it.
try to say that, obviously our photos and our videos are great products. I've been doing
Yeah.
photos and videos for almost 15 years now. But we're also in the customer service business. It's really about treating my clients well and giving them what they need. And also, not just representing my brand, but representing their brand. When I go to a house, I want to make sure that their clients think I'm doing a good job.
That's right. Yep.
So it's really a lot more than just photos and videos,
Yeah.
but really about being really good customer service.
Yeah.
I always try to be as responsive as possible.
Love that.
When changes are needed in floor plans or photos or anything like that, I always do them and try to just give the best
Awesome.
customer service I can. I think that goes a really long way.
You're the total package.
You are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Rob.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much for
you
joining
so
us
much,
today.
Rob.
This
It was a
was really,
pleasure
really
to meet
fun.
you.
Good.
In
Really
regards to your
enjoyed this.
dad.
Yay.
All right.
Great.
Thank you very
you.
much.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.